First move and a quick look at the commodity markets here, energy markets in particular. In light of the latest escalation in trade tensions between the United States and China, you might assume that we'd see a bit of softness in this market. Growth concerns make sense, but of course we know supply output is a huge issue here too. Right now we've got Brent crude higher by 1.7%, WTI higher by 1.8% too, almost hitting $80 a barrel for Brent crude here too. John Defterios joins us now, and I know he's been speaking exclusively to the OPEC Secretary General. All confluence of factors here to deal with, John. Talk about what the Secretary General had to say.
Well, first and foremost, you would think they'd have a cause for celebration, Julia, because it's 2 years after we saw prices drop to $26 a barrel, and they did an agreement with the non-OPEC players that eat up that excess capacity. But the attention here has shifted quickly to Iran. First, the eroding of their production because of U.S. sanctions, and then the threat by Iran to hit supplies coming out of other Gulf producers from the Strait of Hormuz. It's only 70 nautical miles north of where we're standing. In the meantime, we see the United States going directly to Saudi Arabia and Russia and asking them to put more oil on the market. And the response from Iran, you're trying to take OPEC and the market hostage. So I asked the OPEC Secretary General, is this today's reality that the U.S. is trying to undermine the organization? Let's take a listen.
Without OPEC, probably some of these powers will reinvent another organization called OPEC. Now they are calling on OPEC to ensure that there is no supply crisis, to ensure that there is ample supply in the market, so that consumers are not unnecessarily punished.
Mohammad, Barkindo is suggesting they have more power, not less, under Donald Trump. If you read between the lines, he's saying, Julia, we're ready to act. And this is where it gets very tricky. OPEC source told me today that Iran's exports have already dropped more than 500,000 barrels a day.
Wow.
So what does OPEC do next week in Algiers when we have this monitoring committee? Do they respond to the short term or longer term? Because Iran could lose another 1 million barrels by November when the snapback sanctions go into place.